Hey folks, welcome back. So here we are, day three, align and operate the cognitive, emotional, physical aspects of the self, or essentially becoming the embodiment of that new you that you've been practicing with day two. And really, this is the way to ultimately set you free, that total freedom and fulfillment. And I'm so excited to have dear brother, um, scholar, gentleman, genius, you name it. This guy's got it down. Eric Balance. He's a conscious curator, and he's going to be talking today about how to alchemize your business around your life. So I'm super excited to have you on, brother. It's such an honor as always.
I
Take
love
it
you,
away.
bro.
Love you too,
Just
man.
appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me and hello everybody. It's really my honor to be here around this beautiful event, and I'm just excited to connect deeply and serve and support, bro.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much. So, tell just very quickly, just give an overview of your journey of what you're birthing in the world and everything you're up to. And then I'd love you just to dive right into how we can actually alchemize business around our life.
Yeah, so first of all, for me, as Lee mentioned, conscious curator, and what does that mean? Like what is a conscious curator? Well, it's about curating our reality. It's about curating experiences. It's about curating our business, our life, and really alchemizing those together. And so I think of curation, just like an artist, right? If our life is a blank canvas, right? How do we curate that whole expression and paint that beautiful picture that is called our life? And so many of you may have not heard me say, but I love to say this, our your life is really your altar, and each moment in it is an opportunity to create a prayer. And so the way that you behave is more of a prayer than the things that you say. And so for me, business is my art. And business is really the important component of creating conscious awareness and curating it in a way that allows people to redefine the way that they express themselves in the world as conscious entrepreneurs, as conscious artists that really build momentum and change the corporate structure and turn it into a regenerative one. So, what I like to call that is really finding your unique business nirvana. And through us I'm the CEO and founder of Balance Media Ventures. I also have my own podcast called the Resilient Minds Podcast, where I've spoken to over 150 thought leaders from around the planet around how their experiences have shifted them to really cultivate their why so that they can step up to educate, empower, and entertain their audience and attract their community so that they could serve towards a shared purpose.
Mm, that's beautiful, man. Beautiful work you're doing in the world. Much needed. Eric's been supporting me in all of this as well, Eric and his team. So in the event and um, so many other aspects. You see the origin media in behind. We're going to be doing a lot of media going forward and that sort of thing as well. So just a huge thank you, Eric, to your brilliance in being able to ground this and bring this to fruition.
Thank you for
Um,
trusting me.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, without further ado, I'd love for you to just dive in again. We're in day three where we've gone through the opening to the idea of this and then in day two of really putting into practice to align the mind, body, spirit aspects of the self and now we're at that, really becoming the embodiment of in how we actually align and operate the cognitive, emotional, and physical aspects of who we truly are and to me that's what brings us to this idea of total freedom and fulfillment on every level in every area of life. So I just want to hear your thoughts around how to alchemize all of that and live a life of balance.
Amazing. I'm excited. So I just have a question for everybody. If you're listening to this, live, or you're watching back the recordings, like, why are you here? Right? Like, ask yourself, why are you here? Right? Not just like in this moment, not just like right here, right now, but like, why are you here in this reality? Why are you here to create? Like, what is the meaning of your life? And this is a question that I have pondered since I was a little boy. It's like, since I was a little boy, I would, like, when my grandfather passed, like, why are we here? Why did you take the man that, like, nurtured and loved me away from me? This is something that forever I won't forget the feeling. And it was in those moments of being 5 years old that you can allow yourself to realize, wow, there is something way more deeper here. There is something way more powerful here. And instead of blaming, we can take those responsibilities and we can say, your decision will determine your destiny. Your decisions will shape your life. And for me, this was an opportunity to recognize. I remember driving with my father growing up and seeing all these men in business and realizing, Dad, like, I want to be in business like Grandpa was, like you are. I want to know how to understand, how to lead, how to help people. And I didn't know what that looked like. And I realized that although it was something inherent inside of me, I looked at all of, like, the actors or the speakers or all these things, musicians, and I would say, like, why aren't I like them? And I realized, take more responsibility. If you take more responsibility, you can step into your own role. You don't have to compare yourself anymore. And so this is how I allowed myself to cultivate business nirvana, which is really behind what I call the MRR mechanism or methodology, where we really help business owners, conscious entrepreneurs, conscious creators, and artists really redefine the art of business by building momentum, reach, and retention. And so what does that mean? Well, let me ask you a question. When you're building something, what oftentimes stops us, right? Like, when you're building something new, something unique, when you want to ground it from your vision into reality, what stops you? It's usually some sort of way of getting your message out. Or maybe you don't know how you are unique in the market, right? So you're lacking clarity, right? So how can you really create more clarity around your content so that you can attract that optimal audience, that client that you can serve? And so what we call this is marketing momentum. How does that really show up? Well, most people, they don't know how to differentiate themselves. So they just speak to everybody. They just speak to whatever is going on there. They don't have an understanding because they're not curious enough about different maps of the world. You see, the greatest, and Peter Drucker, an amazing marketer, talks about innovation and marketing being the two key components of business, right? And so if we compare ourselves constantly to what's out there rather than recognize our unique intelligence, well, then we're always just kind of basing our process on money rather than value. And the value is you. Yes, I said that. The value is you. You are the unique mechanism that you bring to the table to show up in any environment and create change. That's you. When you are willing to step into a unique mechanism of the way through your experience, through your story, and generate momentum, you start to capture and attract the people that you can help. And this is about, well, I'm going to let go of my fear of success. I'm going to let go of my fear of not being good enough. And I'm going to let go of my fear of failure. So instead of me being in this constant state of a narrative in my mind of what I can and cannot do, you just have to go and do it. It's about making it happen. Most people, there was this video the other day about Alex Hormozi. He's talking about how so many people like really just forget how to like step into that first hour of making momentum happen. And this is what I'm talking about, is momentum happens by implementation, not by generating ideas or thinking how it's going to be done, because that is the tyranny of how. The tyranny of how doesn't allow you to move forward. If you move forward and you aren't feeling about failure, you're not feeling about what people think, you're not feeling about fearing about, what success brings to you, you're just doing it, all of that will show up because you'll learn by doing. You'll learn by making mistakes. And it's amazing to make mistakes because those are the lessons of life that give you opportunity to refine and create better. And so that leads me to like the next stage where how can you from momentum start building reach? Well, most people, they don't know how to build rapport, right? Like right now we're hanging out here with Lee and we're listening and we're connecting and we're talking, and it's difficult for most people to build rapport, build a relationship. Relationship capital is what allows you to create a direct connection. Because if I'm listening to Lee and what he has to say, then I can be present and understand that his narrative and the way that his perspective approaches the world can be a very unique way that at some point in my journey, I can attach to now, and we can create something bigger together. And see, people think for so long that this direct connection is just about themselves because they're not willing to listen. They're only willing to say, what do I do? What am I creating? It's not just about you. It's about all of us. It's about what is this person doing? What really speaks to them? What's the passion that drives them? And when you get curious about all these different maps of the world, you start to tap in to level 8 consciousness, which I talk about being the awakened soul. And this is a spiral dynamics. Dr. David Hawkins talks about it, but there's a lot of different teachings around. Nonetheless, I don't want to go that way right now. The point that I'm trying to say is that if you can approach all different levels of awareness and different levels of consciousness as a compassionate leader, you will have the capacity to listen and you will ask the right questions so that you can generate more deals, more opportunities, more business momentum. And this is how you start to duplicate not your unique presence, but duplicate the process of how you deliver results based off of your experiences, right? So this repetitive component, right? Like when you have a team and you have a process associated in your system inside of your business, your team starts to build. You get to start allowing to create more scale and opportunity, and you get to drive change towards a shared purpose. Because my delivery mechanism is going to be different than the way Lee shows up. However, if his unique approach and my unique approach align and we're driving towards a shared purpose, well, now we can actually lean on each other in different ways so that we can continue to move the shared mission towards one truth. And that one truth is the mission. It's the great mission. And that is why it's a responsibility of each of us to really tap in to who we are at a very divine essence, because then we can work in unity consciousness to move together and weave parts that we've never thought is possible. This is the power of business. This is the power of conscious business. This is the power of really cultivating reach beyond any of our own possibilities, because now we're tapping into a collective wisdom that allows us to really comprehend the grounded possibility of what we're here to create together. And so, go ahead. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I love that. I'd love for you to obviously finish your thought. I want you to bring it around to how we do all the business stuff, but not in sacrifice of a balanced life, not in sacrifice of our health or our, external business relations, or even, I mean, obviously, if we're working towards that aligned purpose, then we're on purpose. We're likely, working on our mission, so the fulfillment will be there. But how do we make sure that we're not just like tunnel vision on business, mission, purpose? It doesn't matter if I take care of myself or not, or it doesn't matter if I'm taking care of my relationships. I have to tend to the mission, and I think so often that self-sacrifice is so deeply embedded into our consciousness that it's like, it doesn't matter what happens to me as long as the mission is taken care of.
Yeah, I love this, and it's a very important question, because you see, the way that we do one thing is the way that we can do everything. And so if we recognize that that level of alignment in ourselves is willing to be showing up, not just in our business, in our life, in our relationships, in our health, in the way that we live our life, we start to actually not just position ourselves as an authority, we start to be the authority. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, now, for me, to show up here and tell you, hey, like, create alignment, and then show up like in complete unhealth, or like looking, where like I'm 400 pounds overweight, or not really in a place where I can authentically express myself, it wouldn't be in alignment to what I'm sharing. So it's very imperative that you take the time to create these levels of alignment, because if you align your health, your wealth, your relationships, your business, your life, all in the same message, you will start to be the individual, the authority that isn't focused on sales or trying to just get to know people based off of your business. You start building genuine relationships with others. And so you provide value everywhere you go. Your business and who you are is like it's an amalgamation of the same thing. And the way that you show up with your beloved is just as important as the way that you show up with your business partner. And in fact, those two can merge, right? And so this is the thing that so many people think, that, and myself included, I used to think that, wow, I needed to have like my family life, my home life, my business life, my health life. Like it can all come together. And this is one of the common mistakes that people really are fearing, because when we're trying to generate that reach and generate that momentum, we fear being rejected, right? We fear of like talking about, hey, I'm super excited about this thing that I'm working on, that I'm like super passionate about. It's working really hard. And you're that fear of like that openness, because for so long, people have said, hey, and they maybe this is what people have said to me. So many people have said this to me. Eric, you're too much. You're too intense. You've got too much energy. You like. And for the longest time, I was like, fuck, like, way to rain down on my parade. And then I realized, hold on a second, it's them. Like, it took me a few years. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It took me a few years to figure out, but I realized that, hey, that's their energy. they don't see the possibility because they don't believe in themselves the way that I do. And
Mm-hmm.
so instead of saying, hey Eric, like tell me more, or I'm curious, or how can we do this, what do you think, they're like, no, like that's not possible, how, like, rather than having the curious question. And so be curious, right? Put yourself out there, connect with strangers, speak out loud, share your audacious and brilliant ideas, because that rejection is going to only put you into a place where the people that will believe in you will see you, will understand you, because they'll know that where you're coming from. And this knowing of where you're coming from, there are a handful of us around the planet, maybe more than a handful, but there's a good group of us that will hear you. And
Mm-hmm.
those are, if you're here, you're probably amongst this amazing group, right? And so it's about listening to this capacity and being willing to say, I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to be vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable in my actions. I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm going to own them, and I'm going to love them, and I'm going to apologize for them. I'm going to over deliver in every capacity. I'm going to create such a retention capacity of getting people to understand my mission in a retention way that they retain the information because they see me talking about it constantly. And I'm going to ask people to refer me. Even if they think I'm crazy, I'm going to ask, like, who do you think I can support? Who do you think I can serve? Who do you think that's doing this? Because that is what's going to allow you to build that ability to have compassion for the people that maybe they are sensitive enough or unsensitive that they don't really understand where you're coming from. They try to project onto you, oh, it's about, like, they're trying to make it about them, or trying to make it about their business, or about them making money. But they don't understand that you're working towards something bigger, right? Or you have a team, and that's okay. So all you have to have is compassion, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
really giving that level of compassion, of really making sure that you're not over promising, or an under delivering, but you're under promising and over delivering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this shows up in every area of your life. If you are holding yourself to a higher standard of integrity, you are then willing to use your life as a driver towards being at a top shape, like really looking after yourself health wise. Doesn't mean you have to be like a bodybuilder or a marathon runner, but like take care of yourself, right? You can do that when you have your own business. You can travel, you can see your family, you can bring them with you, you can have children and you can teach them. Your wife can work with you, your beloved can be part of your business. You guys can create something together. All of this is possible, and you can do it with purpose, with passion.
I love that. So beautiful. And that's what we've been discussing all the last 3 days, really, is this idea of creating peak performance in every single area of your life. It doesn't just have to be, in your relationships. It doesn't just have to be with your health or your mission, right? Like we truly can have it all. You mentioned earlier about, this infinite intelligence, and it really is infinite, and the only thing I think that really limits us is our mind and the stories that we've been told that, we're not enough, and or that somebody else is special, and that's why they were able to come up with the thing or make the invention, or whatever it is. And I mean, the truth is, we're all that, right? And but it starts with the self, and it starts with self-belief. And you also mentioned about knowing the self, so um I love that. I love this conversation, and just want to ask. We got a couple minutes left, Eric. So is there anything else that you can share with someone in really how to alchemize their business around their life so that they do create that balance, so that they do create that peak performance in every single area, so that they can truly be free. They can truly be free and fulfilled on every level, in every possible way.
So yeah, so um, if you can take your current belief system and you can imagine your dream outcome, and that you can understand that there's a gap in between, right? Wherever you are now to wherever you want to be. If you step in and either ask for help from somebody or get somebody to guide you, or do it yourself, read a book and build a process around how you want to get there. And you map that out on a piece of paper, get really clear on what those next 3, 6, 12 months look like, and implement it. Create an implementation plan for the next 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. Learn from that, get the feedback from the marketplace, get the feedback from the people around you, and keep building until you get to that dream outcome. This is your next step. It's simple. It's simple because all you need is to know, okay, I want to build this event. Okay. If I want to build this event, who do I want there? What do I need? How many people? Okay. Okay. What's the message I want to deliver? How do I want to create that message? What do I want to get people to feel at the end of that message and the end of that experience? How do I deliver value? What's that value that I deliver so that I can get people to also pay for it? There's nothing wrong with getting paid for your passion. It's amazing. You deserve it. And so making sure that that's okay with you is something that I am so fucking excited to share, because you deserve to be genuinely paid for your passion, for the service that you provide, for something that you believe in. And you get that feedback loop and you create it and you build that dream outcome. You make that happen. You step into that area of possibility, and you will go from unseen as an unconscious creator to unstoppable as an integrator in this current reality. Because we believe that we're unseen, but you can be unstoppable. And that profound gap from unseen to unstoppable is about you just implementing and taking the tool. And if you decide in some capacity that you need help or support, we're here to help you. Like, you have a family around you to support you, right? You don't have to do this alone. You really don't.
Mm, beautiful. It's all for one and one for all. We're in it together, and we're in it to win it this time. Thank you so much, brother, for your insights, for your genius, and yeah, your support, and for being here. It's really, as always, such an honor for me. So just thank you so much.
And thank you, Lee. I just want to really end off with acknowledging your wisdom and brilliance. And I know that you have been working really hard on this. You've been working really hard to develop and create. And you've been grounding a lot of energy for a long period of time. And I'm just excited that you're shining, you're smiling, and you're always just like moving forward. You're moving forward and making things happen. So I commend you, bro, because a lot of the world needs to see this type of work continued. And I'm just grateful for you, bro.